for a dirty chai latte today because I thought it was a good marriage of my past tea drinking self and my current coffee drinking self. The other day I remembered that I made a 30 goals before 30 video and I thought I should check in, just see where we're at. A lot has changed. So let me grab my laptop and we'll have a look. I'm hoping things have changed for the best. We're also going to take a break halfway through because I couldn't find my tripod for a really long time and now I have a meeting at 3. I remember that in this video I wore a really good lipstick and I think that's the reason the video got a lot of clicks. I want to save for a deposit on a house. I think that one's pretty self-explanatory. Number 2. I can tell you there is an update on this. So number 1 was I want to save for a deposit on a house. And it is very fortunate that I did plan to save for a deposit because Jack and I are currently buying a house. It's all very tentative right now, so I'm not going to talk about it until we're in, as I don't want to curse it. Basically. I can't believe that was number 1 on my goals because as I got older, I didn't think it would be possible for me in my 20s to buy, and I had reassessed and expected that to happen in my 30s. But right now it's looking like it will happen in my 20s, and that is the most amazing blessing. Yeah, I feel very, very lucky. Buy a house. Again, self-explanatory. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Hopefully soon we'll be able to tick that box. Buy a sofa because I know they're quite an iconic purchase in terms of furnishing your own home. Like, I want to be able to be like, I bought this expensive thing and it's going to last me for ages and it's going to be the iconic centerpiece in my home. That's really funny. I didn't buy this sofa, but this is our sofa. We were kindly gifted it by Snug. So I still have to buy a sofa at some point. But I do own a sofa, so I kind of can half tick that box. We're going to have to rewrite some of these. 2 in and I've achieved them before I'm 30. That's incredible. I don't think we're going to hold up for the rest of it. Let's not hedge our bets. I want to get a pet. I'm pretty sure I want a dog and I want that as soon as possible, but I know right now I can hardly look after myself, let alone a pet. So I need to adult more. Okay, so I don't have a pet. I don't have a pet, and I actually thought that into my late 20s I would definitely 100% get a pet. But now I'm getting a bit older, I've realised there's a lot of things I want to do that don't necessarily align with having a living, breathing creature in your house that you have to take care of. And that includes babies as well. So I don't necessarily see me getting something as high committal as a dog, as highly committal, as high commitment. We're kind of thinking about a cat, maybe. Probably not a dog and definitely no babies. I want to be able to live on my own for a whole year, which may not sound like that much of a goal. I'm sure lots of people can do that, but I currently in London could not do that. When I was 24, I did look to live on my own and I viewed a few places, but because I was self-employed and a single person, they were just really, really reluctant to do that. So yeah, I had a really unsuccessful attempt at looking to live on my own. And then obviously I met Jack and yeah, I mean, I was looking to live on my own for like a year or 2 before Jack and I moved in together, but then we moved in together. So it all worked out. I want to get fitter than I currently am. I'm currently not doing any exercise. I have an expiring gym membership. Just sitting. I do go to the gym now. I have been consistently working out for a 1.5 to 2 years up until this summer. This summer, everything just fell off. The only reason I'm not going is I'm just stressed and busy and it hasn't been a priority. Right now, everything just feels really stressful and unstable. But when we're in a place, I feel like it'll be really nice. A big one is to stop biting my nails. I've bitten my nails since I had teeth. I've managed to grow them out twice in my life, but as soon as there's any kind of stress, I just destroy them again. Oh my God, I did that. So it's a precarious one, but I have quit biting my nails. I haven't bitten my nails in close to a year, but I do have to have gels on them. I know if I took this nail polish off, I would destroy them. These actually are getting redone on Thursday. It makes such a difference to my self-confidence. I feel so much more sorted, so much more responsible. Like, I've got my shit together when my nails are done. 0 regrets on the money I spend to not bite my nails. You might be thinking, oh, but I don't have like a load of budget. How should I quit biting my nails? What I did when I was younger was I painted my nails as I watched YouTube every like 3 or 4 days. I had to do it really regularly. But when I had any kind of polish on them, I wouldn't bite them. And the final life one is a little bit dark. I really want to visit my nana's grave as I haven't been in a really long time and it would be really nice to go down there. Okay, I haven't done that. I really should do that. I will keep that on my list. I want to release some music on Spotify. Like a project preferably, but even just a song would be such a life goal for me. Oh, I haven't done that. But I am in a much better place with music than I have been in my life. I really struggled with the confidence to share my music, and I still struggle with that. But the fear of sharing my music also ended up bleeding into how I created music, and I was almost just too afraid to create or dedicate any time, even just for people in the house with me hearing. I honestly felt so uncomfortable singing in the house, even when I got along really well with my housemates and I was really close to them, but it just felt weird. And even for the first year of living with Jack, I didn't do it. And now I'm like, life is too short. So I'm making music again, and it's been the best thing ever. So yeah, no music on Spotify yet. Maybe. I want to download production software and actually commit to learn how to use it, because at the moment I think I've downloaded Ableton and Logic, and both times, as much playing as I've done, I'm just terrified of them. I don't even know where to begin. I produce my songs on Logic. This was by far one of the hardest hurdles to jump when it came to making my own music. And if you feel the same way, I just want to share empathy and sympathy with you, because that is so hard. And even coming from a background where I understood a lot of creative software, it was still really, really hard for me. And what I ended up doing was I booked a course. I think I spent £250 or something like that, 4 classes at a school in London Fields that does music production. And I had one-on-one sessions with this guy who honestly was so patronising, and it was just awful. But it taught me what I needed to know, and I was able to use that as a basis. It just cut the fear, and gave me allocated times in which to learn this skill. And that was the push I needed. I was then able to make time for myself and slowly, bit by bit, learn how to make music. It was really hard. I can't lie, that has been a real learning curve for me. But yeah, if you also are struggling with this mental block on how to learn a new creative skill when it feels like a mountain to climb, please know I am there with you the whole way. It was so hard for me. And I wish I could tell my 22-year-old self that I did it, because I honestly never thought I'd be able to. I would look at people even just making like sampled beats and just think, how are you doing this? I didn't even think about recording my own voice or instruments. I was like, how are you making drum noises and recording them? I couldn't even do that. I've started sharing just the weird little beats I'll make, but every time I do it, I learn and I get better. I'm over the real slow, really, really tedious bit, and now I've got just enough skill set that every time I'm still learning loads, but I have just enough knowledge already to make the process not as painful. And it's a really good place to be. But yeah, I can use it. Oh, I wish I could tell her. She'd be really proud. I'd love to release my own beauty product. Okay, so the reason I said this one is because I had been approached by a company who told me that they could help me start a beauty brand. This was before it was really, really popular for influencers to make a product. And I honestly thought they were out of their mind. I was like, why would you come to me for this? And actually now I understand this model of influencer companies. It makes total sense. But beauty wouldn't have been the right way for me to go. Even though I have a lot of interest in skincare, I was always more of a learner and a follower than an authority. So this probably won't happen. However, I am starting a lifestyle company that you will learn more about. I can't give too much away right now. I hate when influencers do this. Honestly, it bores me so much. It's just taken a really long time. We started work on it 2 years ago nearly. And it turns out the product we're trying to make is hard to make. Who would have thought? But it's hard to make well, and especially as we have a really cool, in my opinion, a really cool concept, and we're doing it sustainably. It's just been a lot more challenging than I think any of us expected. So I am starting something in the lifestyle space. So I'm kind of on the money here. So I now have a meeting to take. I will be back in half an hour. We will pick up where we left off. 1 hour long meeting later, and we are back. While we're talking about life goals and growing up and hitting 30, let's talk about Father of the Bride, the film I watched this month on Sky Cinema. As you know, I'm part of Sky Cinema Club, and I review a film every month which is new to Sky. We all know I love a rom-com. I am a rom-com queen, and Father of the Bride just was perfect for me in every way. It's about a father who's coming to grips with his daughter's upcoming wedding, and it was just really sweet and really warm. It's following a Cuban-American family, which is really fun. It's just watching all these dynamics at play. I just love a wedding. I think weddings are just so wonderful. Overall, it was just really charming. I love a family rom-com as well. Just like Crazy Rich Asians is one of my favorite go-to comfort films. And Father of the Bride really fit into that mold for me. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And yeah, just in general, I've really enjoyed using Sky Cinema lately. Do you know what? Watching a rom-com reminds me of going to Blockbuster back in the day and kind of picking through the rom-com section, finding the one rom-com I hadn't seen yet and borrowing it, buying some ice cream, and then going home and watching that film with my friends at a sleepover. This was like our sleepover routine. And if we were to do that sleepover routine now, we would have picked Father of the Bride. Anyway, thank you Sky Cinema for working with me on this video, and you can watch the trailer for Father of the Bride at the link in the description. Now let's continue with the video. Do I think there'll be anything marriage themed? I'm unsure. I'd love to host my own radio show. I love radio. I think it's such a unique format. And I love talking, as we all know. And I love music. So to host a radio show like on Beats One or something would just be, oh, that's really cute. The way I see this more now is that I wouldn't necessarily be a radio host, but I'd be a podcast host. And I have done that. I had my own podcast. I don't listen to radio so much as I listen to podcasts. And I think podcasts are the new radio. I think a lot of radio formats work really well as podcasts. I mean, you can listen to Desert Island Discs as a podcast now. And if that doesn't speak volumes, then I don't know what does. So yeah, I feel like the goalposts have kind of moved since I made this video. To have a column in a magazine, I think would be so, so cool. I love magazines. To have a column in a magazine feels a bit weird to me now because I don't really read magazines. I guess I read some online publications, like I read Who, What, Where, and I read The Cut, and I have a New York Times subscription. So I do read some stuff. But like, honestly, my goals have changed. I can't imagine writing a column for anyone really. If the opportunity arose, obviously I'd welcome it, but it isn't something I'm aspiring towards. I want to be able to hire an office or studio space for myself. And that to me is like a level of success when you can actually afford to spend kind of your rent and a half or your rent and 3/4 every month. That's a real marker of, and also needing it as well. Once you need a studio space, I'm like, yeah, you're the real deal. I still see that as a marker of success, having your own studio space or your own office space. In 2018, I did have a co-working space membership, but I just found that for what I do, it wasn't that practical. I would need a studio space because obviously I film and I'd want to record lots of other content there as well. I'd want to shoot there. I'd want to make music there. I'd want it to be a creative space. And you can't really do that when 40-year-old men who work in marketing are like, Julie, down the phone. So yeah, I would still love a studio space, whatever form that would come in. I did look into it about a year ago, but actually I think having my office space now is so totally fine. So yeah, I would still love one day to have a studio space. I want to be an ambassador for a charity that I really believe in. I do a bit of charity work here and there right now, but I don't do nearly enough. And it would be wonderful to actually make a sizable, noticeable impact on people's lives. That's very sweet. I would still love that. I don't think it would come in the form of an ambassadorship though. It's really interesting, the lens that I'm looking at this 30 before 30 through is, especially in this work section, is I see my trajectory being on more of a celebrity pipeline. The influencer industry wasn't nearly as established. In 2017, I'm clearly envisioning my career as moving into more conventional entertainment, which is interesting because now the influencer industry is so established that I don't actually think a lot of people aspire to be in conventional entertainment industries, and neither do I now. I'm very happy as an influencer. I get all of this freedom to be creative and make what I want without the pressures. And I think it's so much more fluid now as well. Like, I'm an influencer, but sometimes I can go on a TV show or a news show, or sometimes write for a paper or give a quote, or I have way more flexibility because our industry is way more legitimate now. But at the time that I made this list, it's clear that I feel I need some validation and to be taken seriously for what I'm doing. And also it shows that there was just no one who'd done it before me. Do you know what I mean? It's not like there was a blueprint I could follow. I was very much carving my own path and I really didn't know what that would look like. So it ends up looking like a celebrity path. Anyway, it's all very interesting. Basically, it shows how much the industry has evolved, and in a really positive way as well. I'd like to be invited to speak at an event. I don't know what that quite entails. That could be a TED Talk, or that could be something way more like low key. But at the moment, I'm only ever invited to do panels, which even then is amazing. I was asked to speak at a brand event. In fact, I feel like I've done it quite a lot pre-COVID, all pre-COVID. But yeah, I haven't done a TED Talk or anything, and I don't know what I'd do it on. Honestly, again, like, the goalposts have changed so much for me work-wise. And finally, for work, I'd like to find an amazing manager. I'm not managed by or looked after agent-wise by anyone at the moment. And so it would just be really cool to have a person that really understood my vision and could account for nuance as well, because a lot of people in talent management want to put you in a box and they really have to believe in you, I think, to make it work. And there are some amazing managers out there. I found one. Again, like obviously a lot of this is projection from where I was at that time. I was looking for management for probably 6 months. I'd had a really awful management experience before in my first year of being a full-time YouTuber, and they dumped me in this horrendous way. Yeah, it was just really bad. I was taken advantage of. I was 21, I was naive, I didn't understand the industry. In this time where I was looking for management, I met with lots of managers at lots of big companies, and a few times over they said to me, we don't know where you fit. We don't understand your niche, so we can't work with you. And it completely knocked my confidence, and it also really changed the way that I did the internet. It actually, I think, really changed the course of my YouTube channel, because I was suddenly really insecure about what I was doing, which I hadn't been before. Because there were these people who had years of expertise telling me that you're not good enough to work with us because you're not niched down enough. So at that point was when I started my capsule wardrobe. It's when I started talking way more about beauty and about skincare. I was already doing all of this. I have no idea why they didn't see the potential in me, especially with the numbers I had. Yeah, at the time I was like, right, I've got to be a beauty girly now. And in hindsight, that was really limiting to me and what I was doing. But now I have a wonderful manager. He's called James, and he is just great. We've worked together for 5 years now. Yeah, we've worked together for 4 years, and James is wonderful. James is supportive and kind and has been in the industry for years, and he gets it. I don't think some of these agencies actually have their talents' interests at heart, and from some of the things that I've heard since, I am endlessly grateful that I did not sign with them, even though at the time I would have cut off my left arm to sign with them. I'd like to take more photos. I'm really bad at taking photos, and I think that really shows, unfortunately, with the quality of the photos on my blog at the moment. So I'm really hoping to up my game on that and just naturally carry a camera around with me everywhere and just naturally get it out and use it. I very much take photos now. I carry my film camera pretty much everywhere I go. I even released the presets that I use to color grade my photos for people to download, because I have curated my vision and my style through my photography so well that I thought I could share it. I uploaded this on the 2nd of December 2017, and I remember in January of 2018 making 2 decisions. One was I was going to stop reading my guru gossip thread, and 2 was I was going to put so much more time and effort into Instagram, because I realized I was completely dependent on YouTube. This may be a really boring little bit of chat for you, so sorry, you can skip ahead. But when you're an online creator, I think the worst thing you can do is box yourself in on one platform. The platforms do not live for you. They live for advertisers. They will do whatever they need to do to stay afloat. So in that time, in 2018, I decided YouTube was obviously still my primary platform, but I was really going to make my Instagram stronger. It took me a really long time to get even decent at taking photos, but I am so glad I put in all that work and time and effort, because now it feels really natural to me, and it's just another creative outlet for me that I really enjoy. Speaking of which, I'd love to learn to take more film photos and to actually understand how a film camera works. Oh my goodness. Okay, where to begin? I use my film camera. I just love taking film photos, and I love that it works as both a way to make memories and preserve memories, and also to be creative. It combines those two in a way that just makes me really happy. I want to read more than 12 books in a year. At the moment I read 12 a year because of Banging Book Club, and I pretty much, I don't know if it even counts, maybe 1 or 2 more than that. Shall we go on my story graph? Where are we up to and how many books I've read this year? I'm definitely not hitting 12, and I don't think I hit 12 last year on my Goodreads either. In 2020 I read 9 books, in 2021 I read 7. That's embarrassing. I think I've read 7 this year. I would love to make more time for reading, and I hope to continue on this 30 before 30 quest. I want to visit Scotland. I've never been to Scotland, Ireland or Wales, and Scotland's like the big one that I really want to go to. I'd love to visit Edinburgh. I have yet to visit Edinburgh. It's been a plan every year, but obviously we had a panini. I want to make a list of 50 classic films that I should have watched and then go and watch them. Especially anyone who's ever dated me, as they will know and as they will tell you, I I'm really bad with film. I now have Sky Cinema, which is amazing for my film watching. And now they have Paramount Plus as well as part of the Sky Cinema package, which is great for classic films. I know they've got Pulp Fiction on there. I know they've got Grease. I always think about doing like an 100 albums challenge and 100 movies challenge. Maybe I'll make a list. It would be quite fun. It's something I feel like I'd do in Notion and just like update whenever, you know, watch one a month. Same way I do with the Sky Cinema Club. I want to visit India, and then next on the list I want to visit Ghana, because those are the 2 countries I studied the most in uni and they just look amazing and I can't believe I haven't been. I would still love to visit India and Ghana. I haven't done that. I'd love to visit Japan and South Korea, preferably in the same trip, I think. Again, amazing countries. I really still want to visit Japan and South Korea. I want to do that as like a full trip. A lot of these are very travel based, and we lost, I think, pretty much like a year and a half, 2 years of travel. Hopefully these will happen before I'm 30. I want to meet Drake. I know that's a really dumb one, but I do want to meet Drake. I don't still want to meet Drake. It might not come as a shock to you. In the few years that I've become old enough and ugly enough to learn more about the world, I've met a lot of people. I've seen enough and I've heard enough that I'd rather just not meet people who I admire. I don't want the illusion to be shattered. On the kind of like cultural media note, I really want to listen to 100 of like the greatest albums of all time. I would still really like to do this. I actually have a Notion page which is ready and waiting for me to input 100 albums that I want to listen to and do it as like a task and also as a video as well. I think it'd be really fun, but I haven't done it. It just takes a lot of planning and a lot of time. I really want to go to Poets Corner. I still haven't been, and I've lived in London for... I have still not been to Poets Corner, which is wild. I might just book that after I film this video. Oh, I didn't mention. So with this house process, we still have to leave this flat in September. We don't know when we will move into another flat. So we are becoming nomads for a few months. I'm really quite excited. I think it will be really fun, and I have a really exciting trip booked as well, which is going to be here, there and everywhere, and I'm really looking forward to it, but it is going to make filming a little hard. My camera and my microphone will be coming with me wherever I go, but right now I have not a clue what those videos will look like. I really want to go to that graveyard in Highbury where loads of people are buried as well. Lots of mine are grave orientated, have you noticed? I'm absolutely going to book tickets to go to Poets Corner and Highgate Cemetery after this. Love that. And then 2 more places I want to visit. I really want to visit anywhere in the Middle East. I'd be really happy. Ideally, I'd like to do Palestine and then Israel, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I would love to do that trip so much. I'd love to visit Iraq and Iran as well. Oh, that'd be so cool. And then finally, and I think this is 30, I'd love to visit Sweden. I've never been to Sweden, and I think it looks super cool, and the people from there are super cool. That's so random. What a random note to end it on. I would still like to visit Sweden. I'd love to visit Copenhagen as well. I'd love to visit Oslo. I'd love to go to Stockholm. I would love to do a proper Scandinavia trip. And also, I don't know if you watched The Worst Person in the World, but that is all set in Oslo, and it was just incredible. Big fan of every single shot in that film. It really made me want to go to Oslo. And that's it. Those are the 30 things I want to do before 30. Hopefully I can give you updates, tell you by the end of next year if I've achieved any of them, or by the end of like the next 5 years if anyone's still here. This is 5 years later that I'm doing this video, and yes, we're still here. Don't worry, Luce. That's so interesting. I would love to do an updated 30 before 30 goals, because there's still quite a few years. I've got like 2.5 years left of being under 30. I'll probably rewrite my 30 before 30 list regardless, but let me know if you'd like a video on it. I've achieved so many of those goals already, and I guess it makes sense. It is 5 years down the line, but wow. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Sky, for working with me on this video. You can find out more about Sky Cinema below. Let me know your goals to achieve before you're 30 in the comments. I know a lot of us are under 30, and let me know if you are over 30, if you achieved any of your goals, or if you just completely changed the goalposts. I think I need another coffee. I'm gonna go do that.